Brainstorming about my current methods class. I was talking with a math educator, professor of math education recently, and we were talking about some of the struggles that students might be having and why they might be having those struggles. And one of the things that she's really focusing on is formative assessment and how to formally assess students, and then how to take that information and then move forward through questioning and activities and things like that. And what I've been kind of focusing on in my class is how to actually move kids forward. Like, I've been focusing on questioning strategies, classroom management, activities, learning theory, like how to start concrete and move more abstract, and things like that. Things that are actually the business of moving kids forward. And I think what I need to do is spend a little bit more time on the business of figuring out where kids are at so that you can move them forward. Obviously, we've talked about that. Like, we need to know where kids are at. We've talked about formative assessment strategies. We've done concept maps. We've done whiteboarding. We've done a lot of those things, but I think maybe I need to be a little bit more explicit and say, and maybe even bring in some examples of this is what Johnny is thinking about sinking and floating, and then have the pre-service teachers actually think about what are some things he's missing from his explanation, or what are some inaccuracies, or what are the strengths and weaknesses of his explanation. And we might talk about that based off of a drawing, based off of a concept map, based off of any number of things. And then we can say, based on what Johnny currently thinks, or maybe based on what a group of students currently think about sinking and floating, what are some things we could do to add to their understanding, refine their thinking, get them to think more deeply about it, things like that. And during that conversation is when I would hope to see the pre-service teachers applying all the things we've already been talking about, such as starting concrete, bringing in real representations, asking questions to get the kids actively mentally engaged, getting them in groups. Maybe there's a set of students who have complementary ways of thinking, and put them together to have them kind of hash it out. And then obviously all the other aspects that go into effective teaching, whether it's classroom management or choosing appropriate content, things like that. Like how high can we bring Johnny? At what point is Johnny's zone of proximal development going to top out and we can't go much farther? How will we know that? And so I think maybe by, as we work to apply the concepts we've already been learning, I think starting with the formative assessment and figuring out where kids are at is an important piece. But we can formatively assess through concrete representations, whether kids are drawing or manipulating objects or organizing real objects, things like that, will give us a lot of insight into what kids are thinking. We can use that insight to move them forward. And that moving the kids forward is the part that we focused on so far in the semester. We're only about halfway through the semester. So in the second half of the semester, I want to try and make things a little bit more practical and start with what kids might be thinking about X concept and how we might move them forward with specific examples, but we'd be applying the more abstract standards or framework for teaching that we've been talking about so far.